Our top story tonight, some going down in November.
Wars, spending.
There has got to be something big a-brewing.
They're using geese to guard prisons in Brazil.
Does Biden know what Mexico
policies.
is? Would you scare Joe Biden? What are we laughing at?
I think Billy Mays is real.
I'm a world-class skeptic.
I don't know anything about Hunter Biden. I don't know who's big into cocaine and laptops. Why is that our problem?
Complete, absolute incompetence.
Like, who funds the news?
It's a freaking inside job, man. That the entire world's a stage and everything's fake.
Back. Let me try that again. Welcome back to Touch Me Tuesdays on the Veritas Road, where we talk about things that touched me this week, and hopefully we can touch you too. This week, before we get to the fun, a couple of things to announce. For one, Stephen from the Biblical Hitmen. Or I guess it's Carson and John back in the studio. Stephen from the Biblical Hitmen. John is over there, faffing. And Stephen from the Biblical Hitmen is going to be coming on the show 7 p.m. this coming Friday, the 23rd. I am myself very excited for that. Do show up for that. It's going to be a great time. Also, what's up, Nephilim Hunter? How are you? It's going to be a good time. What up, JC? So that'll be the 23rd at 7 Central. Going to talk about a little bit of Genesis 6 stuff. I'm going to have some biblical canon questions, I think, and a few other things. So that will be a good time. Additionally, folks, please go follow our Twitter account. It was nuked, and now we have a new one. So the Veritas Road Pod at Twitter. We're the Veritas Road everywhere else, but the Veritas Road Pod on Twitter. Check out our latest app. We just dropped the one on UFOs. If you guys have seen it, go listen to it again, because you probably missed some shit about Roswell, right? And then Sam Tripoli reposted our one on germ theory. So watch that. We're dropping the edited version on Friday.
Here's to hoping.
Hopefully on Friday.
It has become a lot more work than I was anticipating of getting that YouTube friendly.
Yeah. I said many curse words, and I said the V word a lot.
Yeah, I'm probably about 30% done with it.
Okay.
So if I can get the same amount of work I got today done tomorrow and Thursday and maybe Friday morning, we should be good to go. So we'll see.
Excellent. Well, that will be coming soon. We're going to try to premiere that Friday after the show with Steven. But you're right. Yeah. You're right, Neff Hunter. We're gonna try to get that premiered Friday after the show with Steven, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, at a minimum, it will appear on Rumble, because if I don't get it YouTube ready, I'll drop it ready for Rumble and a rerun on Twitter.
That works.
But I should have it done. I just have to do it.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there. Additionally, we haven't set up a time yet, but we're going to be doing an app with Danny from the Rabbit Hole podcast. That should be really interesting. I'm very excited for that. I have to message her back after we're done here, actually, so that'll be good. Then, folks, whoever's listening out there, guys, go check out the Patreon. If you like the show, you want to support the show, best way to support the show is going to be to go to the Patreon. We are still running our early bird special. Go ahead and sign up now. You'll be locked in at $2 for at least the next year. Why would you not do that, okay? We're coming out with 2 or 3 more tiers soon. Why would you not get locked in at $2? You're going to get all of our regular stuff, plus unedited, uncensored EPs on the Patreon, a little bit of behind-the-scenes content, and a bunch of bonus content we're coming out with here very, very soon. I think we're going to start filming stuff early this next month. So that's coming sooner rather than later. I know I keep saying it, Neff Hunter. Yeah, 33% off. So yeah, go check out the Patreon. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Am I missing anything, John?
No, just go check out the audio platforms, mainly Apple Podcast and
Spotify
is where those are the ones people actually use, so go use those. But
yeah, don't be a bitch and use Amazon Music. Go check out Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
We're on Amazon Music and Audible and all the other ones that I don't wherever Spotify sends it. But
Yeah.
go check those out.
It sends it a bunch of random places. I don't really understand why it does. The 8 people that use those probably have the syndrome, so I don't see any reason. You know what? Never mind. I take that back. I'm happy we're reaching them too. That almost came out real bad. I saved it there at the end.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Mama. So first things first this week. Let's talk a little bit about a friend of the show, Vladimir Putin. He's up in Russia doing the stuff Putin does, which I think it's kind of fun that like we're starting to. I guess we've had all of these like WWE type characters in the media. You know, we have Trump, we have Putin. We're gonna get to Gavin Newsom a little bit later. Like he's starting to come out as a fun WWE type. We've got Barry Weiss. Like it's kind of fun to watch play out. It's like watching like your slow cousin in the backyard in a cape with somebody who looks like Jack Black, like messing around. Like this is what this is starting to remind me of. But in this case, I'm actually like I might move to Russia. So Russia has started opening their country to Christians, which I think is fascinating. So let's just play before we get to what. Don't we hate them? Don't we despise? Aren't we mad at them for some reason? Like aren't we mad at them for something? But apparently they're opening up their country and their hearts to Christians. And let's roll it.
Putin is asking Christian
That guy sounds bad.
Yeah.
But
Give me
Americans to move to Russia to preserve their way of life. Putin assigned an order making it easier for conservative Christians in America to find a sanctuary in Russia. He says that Christianity is under attack by a neoliberalism in the United States and Europe. He is now offering an easy pass for citizenship in Russia for Christian immigrants. This order provides Christian migrants military protection from persecution of other religions, as he says that Christianity and conservatism is a fundamental way of life and values must be protected just like Islam. He makes the claim that no other country in the world is protecting Christianity and its values, so that Russia will step up and take that place. He is also asking Middle East Christians to come to Russia to escape hundreds of years of persecution. Putin is a devout Orthodox Christian and says he sees the Islamic takeover of Europe and wants a Christian takeover for Russia.
All right, I can't take any more of that.
so
nothing against this kid, okay? Because my dad and my brother called me a faggot constantly growing up, but he should have taken a few more hits at football practice. Like he should have, maybe he should have gone to the dance with a prettier girl than maybe he lost. I don't know, but his voice is not pleasant. That being said, how wild is it that Russia is apparently welcoming in Christians? And it seems odd to me that a country that we've been vilifying for the past like 6 or 7 years because they're supposedly like blowing up Ukraine constantly and just taking Zelensky apart piece by piece, is starting to welcome in people of the Christian faith. You look like you have a thought on that, John, before I continue.
No, continue.
Okay.
I can contribute at the end. I want to hear what you have to say.
It just seems very strange that we seem to go ahead and preemptively vilify any and all entities that could potentially have nice things to say, paint nice pictures of, just say good things about the Christian faith. That's not only true, like in this case, where like we've been saying terrible things about Russia and Putin, which he probably is, like, some kind of child rapist. But it's nice that they're letting Christians into the country, at least. That part's nice. I had a thought. I lost it. John, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, all of the world state's bullshit, so I automatically drop all of the notions of these are competing powers. I get very, very skeptical these days of any sort of combination of Christianity and nationalism of any sort.
It's fun.
I believe it is a massively, massively dangerous deception. And it's just as dangerous if it's in English or if it's, shirtless riding a bear in Siberia,
See, that's where I'll disagree.
It might be a little bit more fun shirtless riding a bear in Siberia, but it's just as dangerous.
Can you imagine how much more fun like a church service would be if it was just like communion, but you're all shirtless on bears with Putin?
Yeah.
That would be so much more fun. How much more connected would you feel if you were half naked drinking wine mixed with vodka? That would be... I feel like that's more American than a lot of American stuff. Like, that's more American than the flag. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, fair point. Like mixing religion with nationalism makes you a little bit uncomfortable. But for me, like, at least we grew up with this whole idea of like America being this Christian nation, which was obvious, in my opinion, obvious nonsense. For me, I'm back to the point here where I'm like, I at least feel a little bit safer and better about life as far as like my immediate, like, is everything going to go to shit radar is concerned. I feel a little bit better if you're at least putting the effort in to lie to me, Like we've stopped doing that here. We're throwing up like guys with tits in front of you. We have, I'm pretty sure the ex-first lady has a cock. Maybe the current first lady has a cock. We're talking about Brigitte Macron. We've got trans people reading to kids. We're shooting up lesbians. We're attacking ICE agents. We're doing all of this stuff. None of it's even remotely related to any kind of spirituality. At least Russia's pretending, Like, right. If there's a shooter at the school, I don't want to talk about it. Let's sit in the class and pretend it's not happening. Let's at least pretend we're having a good time. If you're broke as fuck, you don't walk around saying like, oh my gosh, we're so poor. How miserable are you? We're really miserable. No, you pretend, okay, like the rice and beans that the little Mexican family is eating is a lot better than rice and beans. I don't know what rich Mexican families eat. I don't know, kids. I don't know, but you pretend that it's nicer than rice and beans. You get what I'm saying? Like it's nice. It's nice to be lied to. It makes me feel good.
Yes.
And I miss it. It's the security that comes with it. I mean, it's all fake gay bullshit. Let's be honest. It really is. It's all fake gay nonsense. But I think it's fun, and I'm excited to see where this goes. Like, is it a misdirect? Kind of like I feel like it was with Trump. I think a lot of these things are ways to garner the attention, thoughts, kind of the loyalties of people who are, well, I guess the Christian population in this case, but like with Trump, it was like the more conservative population. We're losing a little bit of their loyalty. Let's pull a little bit of that energy, that, whatever that buy-in from these folks, over to our side so that we can get the stuff done we need to get done so that we can buy Greenland, because we're going to do that soon, I guess. So it seems like a great way to get buy-in from that populace. And so my guess would be, if we're going to be serious for a minute, that the end game of this will be to pull Christians in, to pull like the spiritual people into Russia and take the ones who are in Russia mainly. Those are the ones I'm really wondering about, to get their buy-in to flip the script on them at some point. What's coming down the pipe? No clue. But that would be my guess.
Yeah, I mean, there is this kind of... Ooh. Well, that's unimportant.
What'd you do, John?
My camera just flipped on me for some reason, but that's fine. I'll fix it later. What was I saying? I had a retard moment. There is this kind of clash and kind of fight that they're kind of building up in the culture over like the fight over the values of the West. We've seen it, play out throughout kind of Europe, throughout the UK, and they're trying to get that over here. And I don't know, it seems like they're maybe trying to pit that with some type of, some type of Christian bent. They're definitely trying to, play it against the whole Israel of it all, the way they're doing the whole noticing crap we've been talking about. So this probably plays into that somehow, into this like
Russia being the antithesis to Israel, kind of.
Maybe, I don't know. It's just into this whole kind of meta narrative of like the conflict for Western values. This is probably just an offshoot of that in some way. I don't really know how, but it's going to be part of that meta narrative if I have to guess.
That's an interesting thought. To me, it sounded like you were saying Russia's going to be the Harry Potter to Israel's Voldemort. That's the terms I would have couched it in.
Well, I mean, possibly. I don't know. It's just like that's the kind of cultural fight that's going on, especially in kind of the world of like, this hybrid politics, secular religion bullshit that they're doing.
Yeah, it does seem
that's what the fight's over.
Yeah.
And it's just like this is clearly just an aspect of that and driving that whole thing along. To what end? I've got no freaking clue.
Well, that's the big question. I think a lot of this is when like the people who are running these playbooks see that they don't have enough buy-in to accomplish their next thing, whatever that is. Maybe it is like furthering the culture war over there. Whatever it happens to be, they find ways to flip seemingly flip loyalties and leadership enough to get the buy-in from the people who weren't interested, who started to become disinterested in the political or religious or social scheme of the day, right? I've said it on here a ton. Like, I think that's what happened with Trump. I think it was part of the plan was, a lot of these people, like we're even losing the libs at this point. Let's get Trump, let's get Musk, let's get all of these tiny-dicked technocrats in there to try to get some of these people back, because without their energy, without their buy-in, this shit doesn't work, okay? We're trying to build all these, temples to AI in Texas and South Carolina and stuff. We need people bought in to be able to do that. Whatever weird spiritual apocalyptic thing we're doing next, we need people's religious energy, their spiritual energy to actually accomplish this shit. Okay? So we've got to find a way to get people bought in. What do? We come up with the orange antithesis to the old dickless man who was pretend running the country before. That's what we do. Great way to get all of the people with mullets and even some of like the boomers and blue hairs on board who were starting to fade away. I think that's probably the move in Russia as well. I don't know, but that's my thought. Maybe.
I mean, somewhat interesting. You might not be that far off, especially in like younger, like Gen Z men. The rise of kind of like traditional sects of Christianity is like it's starting to get more popular.
Yeah.
Orthodoxy, Catholicism.
That's a great way to pull them in, right?
Yeah, so there's a thought process there.
And they don't like the gays in Russia either. Putin's not a fan of the gays. I don't know if you're aware of that, John.
Well, it's got something going for him.
Which it does seem, riding a bear shirtless does seem like manly, but also gay.
Yeah.
Or riding a horse shirtless, I guess is what he was doing.
What he did.
Yeah. He rode a horse just like shirtless on the beach. And that
lame.
What's lame? I would feel so powerful. How powerful would you feel riding barebacked? That also sounds pretty gay. All right, let's move on. So do you ever get excited when you're watching like a TV show or a cartoon and they introduce like a fun new character, or maybe a character from a story before? Like maybe they wrote him out of the story a few like books earlier, a few episodes earlier, and they come back like with a gay kind of homoerotic vengeance. Don't you love that? I think that's fun. I think that's what's going on here. I was very excited to see this. Let's listen.
Sorry.
If John was even paying attention at all.
I was paying attention, sorry. Son of a bitch.
All of that dramatic lead-in, John, for nothing.
Stop being complicit. It's time to get serious. And stop being complicit. It's time to stand tall and firm, have a backbone. I should have brought a bunch of knee pads for all the world leaders. I mean, handing out crowns and this is pathetic. Nobel Prizes that are being given away. I mean, it's just pathetic. The Europeans should decide for themselves what to do. But one thing they can't do is what they've been doing. And they've been playing. This guy's playing folks for fools. And it's embarrassing. This is diplomacy with Donald Trump. He's a T-Rex. You mate with him or he devours you. One or the other. Who knows what happens in that respect. But with Donald Trump, you saw what happened to Maduro. You see what's happening on American streets. You saw what happened in the state of California, where he put 700 active duty Marines. He didn't send them overseas. Last year, he sent them to the American city. Second largest city in the United States of America. He's got 1,500 active Folks, members of the military on call near Minneapolis. Wake up. Where the hell has everybody been? Stop with this diplomacy of sort of niceties, and somehow we're all going to figure it out.
Okay.
One thing
skip back to the beginning, John. We're not going to play it just yet, but I've always said that the best way to convince side of things is to call them a little bitch. I think that's the move. I think if somebody doesn't agree with you, you tell them they're a pussy, and afterwards, they will probably agree with you. I think that's exactly the kind of high-level intellectual tactic that Gavin Newsom is using here. Hey, you're a bunch of pussies. Do you agree with me now? I mean, listen to this.
It's serious. And stop being complicit. It's time to stand tall and firm, have a backbone. I should have brought a bunch of knee pads for all the world leaders.
I think that's a great oration tactic. And I like the fact that Gavin Newsom is essentially now, after being the kind of faggot supervillain of California for a little while, is coming out strong pretending to be the anti-Trump. And I think it's fun. He goes to Europe. He's like, hey, faggots, listen to me. Quit being a bunch of pussies, right? And stand up to this orange. I think it's hilarious. It's like, I don't know. Did they introduce new characters in WWE? This seems like what this is. Like, we have Trump. He's John Cena or the Terminator or whoever they have in WWE. And Gavin Newsom's like the new faggy guy who he beats up. I don't know, but that's exactly what this seems like to me. And I think it's fun. It's like watching a fun story play out in real time. I don't know why I'm so excited about this, but I think it's going to be entertaining. John, do you have any thoughts?
I mean, it'll be entertaining. It's just clearly the acting's freaking terrible.
Oh, it's it's awful. It's awful.
His ability to portray an intimidating figure is horrible. Like, this was horrible. It's like this.
He's got great hair, though.
I mean, not really.
How dare you, John?
Not really. But it's so clear that the political story's just getting bad. It's getting bad.
Yeah.
This is how does anybody think that this is how does anyone get inspired by this? That's how is anybody watching this and getting actually inspired that this guy is standing on behalf of them, John, for what is right?
Don't you remember
what the actual hell?
Don't you remember back in your youthful sports days when you guys were down a couple of points and the captain of the team would come over in the huddle and be like, guys, y'all are a bunch of pussies. And then everybody would play better. Don't you remember that? Did that not work? No. Okay.
Not really.
What else do you have to... No, that's the point.
No.
Anything else?
Not really. It's just... You're right. This is funny. It's just, again, just further fuel on the fire, just how much of a shit show this has all become.
Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely. I don't know why. If we were gonna try to push somebody like Gavin Newsom as an actual useful political figure, the time has passed for that after 2020. How are we gonna play him as somebody worth paying attention to? I don't know how they're going to manage that. I think they're going to try, and I can't wait to see what they do to try to pull that off. I think it's going to be very... I don't know why Bill Clinton comes to mind, but I feel like it's going to be Clinton-esque. He's going to get caught somewhere with somebody's mouth around his dick, but people are going to love him for it. I think that's what's going to happen. I feel like that's what's going to happen, and I'm excited about it.
I don't know. They tried the same shit with Andrew Cuomo in New York, and we saw how that went.
That's true. That didn't go good.
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of clear that these freaking retards are irredeemable. And it's kind of an encouraging thing that most of the populace has said, hey, go F yourselves. And they leave it at that. So,
yeah, no, it is. And is it possible that they're just using these people as scapegoats too? He's clearly a fucking moron. And you're right. He's a bad actor. Are they just using him essentially as a scapegoat? Here, look at this guy,
I mean, yeah, that's all what frickin', the political space is.
Right? Well, we have some that are there to at least, continue to pretend like they're doing something, like Trump. He's continuing to pretend like he's doing stuff, right? Is Newsom just a faggy Californian who's gonna essentially just be like, I don't know, like kind of an annoying fly,
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they've played out Trump's hero's journey archetype. I don't think that they can continue that much longer.
It does seem to be nearing its end.
So I really don't see a world to where they try to feign up some other big conflict. Is like they used his hero's journey archetype to kind of get him back into the place where he is now.
Yeah.
And I think that's that's where the story peaked and we're in the downfall of it all, and I don't know what comes after that. That's what's kind of gotten me so
well. There's got to be
paying attention to all this crap,
There's got to be
because it doesn't really, there doesn't really seem like there's anything after it.
Yeah.
And so it's like putting up some freaking retard beta piece of shit. It's like who the hell cares? And it's like.
Yeah,
I mean, kind of my view on it. I don't really see in the realm of politics where they play out some type of grand narrative that is in any way impactful as it was in 2020 and 2024.
With Gavin Newsom or just in general?
In general. It's I feel like they played that out. Is I feel like the fall and rise of Trump was the ultimate political narrative that they can play, and I don't feel like they can do that again.
I don't know.
So it's I feel like this world, in how it has been so impactful on the culture in the past decade, has to go away.
People are starting to disengage.
And people are,
to your point, people are starting to disengage with it.
Is it doesn't matter as much in the popular culture as it did, 3 years ago.
Yes.
Because people are realizing that it's all bullshit. So it has to go away.
Yes.
And then what's going to take that place? That's the question,
And my assumption would be there's probably some kind of big-ish event coming our way. These happen periodically, and they seem planned. I mean, relatively planned. 9/11, and then 19 years later we get Corona, and it seems like as the effects of these big events start to kind of fade from the mass consciousness, we have to pull another one, right? To kind of maintain that grip on the populace, to maintain that control. And these happen more and more often because it seems like it's ramping up over time, right? World War I, World War II, Vietnam, the fucking Cold War. This shit used to be a little more spaced out, right? Now they seem to be getting closer together, and I don't know if part of that is just people becoming disillusioned with the system. Maybe people are waking up and becoming more spiritual. I don't know what it is, but it seems like we need these big, at a minimum, false flag events to try to recapture the mass consciousness in some meaningful way.
Yeah.
And you're right. Trump seems kind of played out at this point. Is there going to be, are we done with that character? Are we throwing that action figure in the garbage? Or is there going to be an event? Are the aliens going to fucking land? Is Trump, or not Trump, is Russia going to drop a damn, fake nuke somewhere? Is there going to be some kind of event to try, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but to try to keep, that piece on the chessboard? And that's the big unanswered question for me after all of this, Trump is the last president talk we had back a year ago.
Yeah, when we did our election live stream.
Yeah. And so that would be my big question. I don't think anybody's going to be able to answer that right now, but that's my big question as we see some of this stuff play out. Nephilim Hunter's exactly right. It is all fake and gay. It's all pretty retarded. There's no reason to really try to, nail it down, but it's interesting. And in this case, I think it's hilarious. Gavin Newsom going to Europe just to tell them they're a bunch of pussies and they need to do better, I think is fantastic. It's like if I drove all the way over to your house and was like, John, you're a faggot, do better, and then I just left. What's that gonna do? What's publicizing that gonna do? I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's just dumb, and definitely don't give it any real energy. Is the only reason I kind of pay attention to it, because I'm starting to kind of see them drop certain narratives and pick up different ones. I'm starting to see like this whole, just the whole world of kind of politics, that narrative is starting to slowly kind of be dropped out of culture as something that actually really matters, you know? I think it is something to pay attention to, you know, in the meta narrative of all of this.
You really dwindled there at the end.
Yeah, I was looking for my term that I wanted to use.
You did good.
You know,
you did good. I don't know that I would agree with that. I don't know if it's dwindling or if it's just the focus is shifting because the structure has to change to either retain people's attention or to keep it relevant. I'll be interested to see where we're at in 3 years. I'll be interested to see what's going on because you might be right. I don't know, but I think it's hard to tell. I think this is a period of transition, which is probably why we're seeing that kind of like, it almost feels like a lull, you know, like, sure, we're capturing people from Venezuela, but like, who cares? You know, like who really cared about that? 8 people looked at that online. Nobody cared. Right. More people were interested in his tracksuit than anything else. Nobody cared.
Yeah.
And so it does feel like politically, socio-politically even, we're in a little bit of like a sticking point, you know? I'll be fascinated to see how that either resolves or changes because we're still on the gays. We're still on the trannies. We're still on the Browns. Like we're still on all of this that hasn't changed in probably 15 years. Something's got to give. Is it going to be the aliens? Is it going to be Elon Musk's AI penis? I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah.
On to the next. So,
what is the next?
This one was the tagline for which I said the birthday thing. So let's watch a little bit of this. No preamble here. Let's just see. Shout out to Nephilim Hunter for giving us this link.
Okay, now we're good.
Birthday, and I was just sitting here thinking, you guys, birthdays are actually rituals. Let's get into it. Now, let's just think about this for a second. We all gather in a circle and we cut off the lights and light candles and chant, "Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday." That's a ritual. Now, the definition of a ritual, you guys, is a structured, repeated, or prescribed sequence of actions, behaviors, words, or gestures performed.
That's really all we need to see this. And he goes on to say, like, birthdays are meant to, like, kind of make you aware of, like, this idea of the passage of time, and that time is fake. And it's all interesting stuff. John, you told me this for the first time a while ago. Birthdays do seem to be for women, children, and demons. I don't see any reason for anybody to really, like, what's fun about celebrating a birthday? I guess it's nice to go out and, like, you know, be obese with your friends or whatever people do. Get drunk and wake up in some random person's bed. I don't know what people do for birthdays. I guess that bit's nice, but I've never really seen any point in celebrating them. And so I do wonder, is there some kind of weird culty thing about, like, hey, we've been doing this shit for, you know, another period of time type stuff. But it's an interesting thought, and that's really all I have to say on this one. I just thought that was interesting. John, you have anything about this before we move on?
Yeah, it is an interesting thought. And, you know, I don't know about this in particular, but there are so many things that have been ingrained into culture that are, you know, ritualistic, you know, so many things. So I wouldn't be surprised if, like, there is actually an aspect to this that is somewhat true, that this is part of that. It's something interesting to think about. I've never really even given that much thought.
Well, I mean, I know I said we'd probably move on from this pretty quickly, but, like, it does seem almost like some kind of offering, almost, if we want to look at it as, like, maybe a ritualistic offering. The idea of, like, food and fire and maybe burning the food or having some kind of, like, offering with, like, the candles on a cake. It seems like almost some kind of yearly offering to some kind of deity. if you wanted to look at it that way. And that's me tinfoil hat extrapolating.
It's a little bit of a stretch. I mean, I will say is like
things develop in weird ways, so who knows how that started.
I mean, it is at least, just on, if you want to take a very negative bent, like it is like a day of like, just giving into like selfishness and like, kind of maybe some narcissism for some people who take it too far.
White bitches.
Yeah. It is giving into some very negative emotions and negative personality traits for a lot of people.
Which, if I'm gonna go like full on American, I kind of like that aspect of it.
Right?
Here is just full reign to be a complete asshole for a day.
Yeah.
You can always spot just the worst of the worst. Like, it's my birthday.
Yeah.
Wish me happy birthday.
Yeah.
Have you wished Susan happy birthday? Do you know it's her birthday today? I don't care. Susan's a bitch and 40 pounds overweight. I don't care. Why are you telling me that? She's 1 year closer to death. We shouldn't be celebrating her. We should be celebrating the fact that there's less time to spend with the slut. Why are you telling me it's her birthday?
All right.
That's how I feel about birthdays.
I can see that. I think we can leave it there. I think you got your point across.
So yeah. And all right. All of these like 34-year-old white ladies who say, "Oh my gosh, it's my birthday. I'm going to go out with my girls. We're going to have such a good time. We're going to drink some wine and we're just going to have a great just a fantastic time." That is a great excuse to go be a retard and a whore. And guys do the same thing. They just get fucked up. So like, it's just a bunch of retarded middle-aged people trying to pretend they're 16. There's nothing good about celebrating a birthday after you're 8. Once you're 8, your parents should hand you like a spade and say, "Go out and dig a hole in the backyard, you little bastard." Like, put kids to work. You're 1 year older. How about you earn your keep, you little asshole? I think that's the move. Birthdays shouldn't represent celebration. They should represent work. Because that's all that's going to come the older and older you get. Just more work. Happy birthday. Gosh. All right. So we don't necessarily even have to listen to this video. But how weird is it, this, like, Greenland ramp-up? Trump's obviously been talking about Greenland for a little while now, but it seems like the media is really, really pushing this whole idea of us taking over Greenland yet again. And in this interview, they reference the fact that when Trump was pressed about whether, like, what he was going to do to take over Greenland, he was like, "You'll find out." And who cares? Short answer, it's very Trump. But you have to wonder what's going on up there that we feel like it's of such importance, because it's odd. Nobody wants to go vacation in Greenland. Maybe they have, like, I don't know what natural resources they have, but all of these old demonic child molesters really seem intent on getting a hold of it for strategic reasons. That's what all these old people say we need it for. Now, if you subscribe to any sort of like biblical worldview, you gotta wonder what's going on around the North Pole, right? If you're not fully like blind to the idea that the world might not be what your lesbian science teacher in second grade said it was, then you have to wonder what's going on in the North Pole and down around the South Pole, right? Why are we so intent on getting control of Greenland? What's going on around Greenland or up above Greenland maybe that we're so interested in? And if you subscribe to the ideas of some of the people out there who say, maybe there's a giant magnetic mountain in the North Pole, maybe the creator resides somewhere near the North Pole, maybe that's part of why, just wondering. Maybe we're trying to hide what's going on up there from the masses. I mean, who knows? But it seems like, and this is going to get off in the weeds a little bit, but it seems like, to me, we're slowly the greater world at large is slowly building a narrative that's going to culminate in something not dissimilar to like all the shit that was going on with Babel. And I'm pretty sure I heard somebody else say that a while ago, so that's not an original thought. But this whole idea of like, we're dang it, sorry, I got distracted. This whole idea of man or whatever, demon, Nephilim faggots are down here trying to do stuff, seems to be ramping up towards some kind of like alien invasion combined with some sort of effort to mount some sort of attack on the creator. That's what I feel like we're slowly mounting up to. And I think this is one more step that direction. It seems like that to me. And I can't imagine another reason why we would be that interested in the North Pole or in Antarctica. There's no other. It's cold as fuck. Nobody wants to go there. Okay? They're a bunch of nerds with tiny dicks. Nobody's interested in going there.
Right.
So why are we so like enamored with the idea of taking over Greenland, of nobody getting to Antarctica, except as it relates to the idea of either hiding the cosmological nature of where we live or something to do with the creator? I can't think of another reason. And a bunch of these science faggots will say that's nonsense. I can't think of another reason why we would be so interested in those places. John, you have any thoughts?
I think the timing's really, really interesting.
It's weird with all the alien stuff too at the same time.
Yeah, with all of the disclosure crap, but also is like all of the northern lights that have been going on across the United States. It's like going all the way down to like Alabama. Is like that is very interesting to me. That is like this ramp up to, get control of Greenland, get control to the North Pole, kind of coinciding with that. I think is something to pay attention to. I don't really know what's there. I definitely don't think it is what we are told. It's just a giant ice cap at the top of the world. Because it's like you read through a lot of different biblical text, and it definitely kind of leans heavily into like somewhat of the presence of God coming from the north.
Yeah.
Like
sometimes the east, but often
that too. But it's like in Ezekiel, it mentions that like all the time.
Yeah.
Like he's constantly like looking towards the north. So there's something to it. I'm not really sure what it is. Haven't figured out what my conclusion on that is. But the timing is something to notice, I think.
It's very odd. And whatever these aliens are, and obviously the disclosure stuff has been in the big in the truth community for a little bit now, especially after the Alberino thing that just went on with NDS. Like whatever these things are, you have to wonder if they're going to be the people who essentially either become the Antichrist, project the Antichrist, something of that nature, right? You have to. And I mean, they obviously seem to be things that were here before us, likely some kind of demonic presence. So I just don't know. But it is weird how, increased efforts to take over a place like Greenland just happen to coincide with the potential of disclosure and all the shit that's ramping up in like the Vatican of them saying like, hey, be on high alert about the disclosure stuff. It may crash the economy.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
What are we going to disclose?
Neff Hunter, I don't know what the Northern Lights are. They say it's, geo or like sun activity bullshit.
They say it's ions from the sun interacting with the Earth's magnetic field and essentially being neutralized in the atmosphere, and that's what makes the lights.
Yeah. And like, who knows if that's true? So it's like they very well could be man-made. But it's just like, I have just learned to not accept the original scientific narrative that they say about all this crap. Yeah. I think it's very, very weird that it's been happening so much in places where it doesn't typically happen.
It's almost like whatever's going on up there is starting to like ramp up a little bit the same way it is here.
Yeah.
The same way the factory lights go on when production, ramps up. Maybe that's what's going on up there. Santa's getting real busy in his workshop type shit.
Yeah, possibly. Possibly. I don't know. It's definitely something to pay attention to. And like whatever the bullshit weather people are saying about it's probably not the reflection of reality.
Weatherman has to be one of the faggiest professions out there. Like, you're gonna take a long stick and just point at clouds. That's the first time that's occurred to me. Sorry. Isn't there something to do with this in the Twitter? Is that where you're going right now?
Oh, you just mentioned the disclosure thing that.
Also the Bank of England said to plan for financial crisis. Yeah, as a result of the disclosure stuff. So like, it's going on all over the place. I think there's another group that also said something like that. Like, it's been out there, this whole idea of like, watch out, the economy might crash when they talk about aliens. And then don't forget the 3i Atlas stuff that's coinciding with all this. Like, it's all kind of converging seemingly on the same place.
No.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. It's weird. It's like a lot of these people seem excited about it too.
Well, it's going to be interesting.
I
don't know who you mean by these people.
Like a lot of these like people in like, excite like who are like in this kind of alien disclosure space or community. They seem weirdly excited about it happening.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even I was like reading like Alberino's Twitter, like after debate, he seems kind of excited about it. And it's weird. I don't know.
Well, these disclosure people, I would argue a lot of them, they almost hold the things that they're looking into on kind of a deified level and not in a good way. You know?
Yeah.
This idea of ancient aliens, ancient technology eventually reaches the point where they, and I'm not arguing the fact like that these things were likely like lower deities at some point, essentially.
Right.
But I think a lot of those people end up deifying them to the level of the like they end up looking at these things like the end all be all of human knowledge and existence, and that's A, bad, but B, you are going to be excited about that because your whole life's been centered around this thing. Like, it's perfectly rational. So, I mean, I guess that doesn't seem that weird to me.
Yeah, fair enough.
The part that does seem weird to me, if your whole life and your income has been centered around like uncovering this stuff, guess what's going to be royally fucked? You don't have a job anymore if the government comes out and says this is what's going on, which is why I genuinely don't think a lot of these like UFO apologists and people who are out there like trying, like UFO journalists, actually are interested in the truth coming out, because your job's gone after that. Unless you're just like the best person ever, your job's gone after that. It's like a physician. You're going to keep people a little bit sick. Your job is probably to feed people enough to keep them interested.
Right.
That's my thought on a lot of it.
Yeah. I don't know. They might be able to write some massively good selling books, but outside of that, you're probably right.
And I mean, that's true. And for some of these people, that may be the case. But yeah, it just seems odd. Seems odd to me. So, yeah. All right. On to the next. So we have another video from this golden voiced man. I'm very excited about this. I would like everybody to know I listened to this video and immediately became hard. I had a halfie the entire time this man was talking, and has nothing to do with the subject matter. His voice is just that good. Okay. And we're in.
Okay.
Can die.
You tell me you don't have a halfie right now, John?
But this way
No.
has to be one of the worst. Now, I don't know what type of freaky thing these giants was on, but this one got caught in the act. She was definitely for the streets. It brings a whole new meaning to being bricked up. Imagine participating in adult relations and being petrified and turned into stone in the act. That can't be a good way to go out. But then again, there are worse ways that you can die. Now this.
Listen, I think the only rational...
It concerns me that got you excited.
I think the only rational thing to do at this site is to build a Hard Rock Cafe. I think that's the only rational thing to do here, is to put a Hard Rock Cafe next to it, sell T-shirts, and be a billionaire. That's the only rational thing to do at this site. I mean, we've got giants, we've got, sexiness. We put a restaurant there, have a bacon burger. It's gonna be great. And if you had this man greeting you when you walked in, I'm sold. Like, welcome into the Hard Rock Cafe. I would move wherever this is. Okay, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Is this a giant who was mummified sucking a dick? Maybe. I don't know. It certainly looks like it, and there are a bunch of geographic features out there that certainly appear to be petrified giants of some sort. The Rock Hard Cafe. Yes, I'm pissed that I didn't think about that. Well done. But this does seem to be like the kind of thing, like if the basilisk caught Ron and Hermione in the bathroom, like this does seem like that kind of thing. And so, I don't know, it does seem to fall in line with, like, John, are you okay?
They were 12 in that story. So I made me think of a different analogy.
I was also 12, so it didn't occur to me, like, when that movie came out.
Jeez, dude.
I was also that age. I had a big crush on, anyway. But it does seem to be, some kind of petrified, fossilized. I don't even like using that word. Some kind of giant that turned to stone, kind of like in the petrified forest. So, oh my gosh, what my baby mama Hoas, that's a great name, is coming out with him. That's perfect. Yeah, I mean it's weird. And the mummy afterwards, I've never even seen that. Like that is super strange. And the combination of that with this man's voice, I almost got excited listening to this video. Like I almost did. But you have to wonder, like, what was actually going on at these sites? What kind of event occurred to turn these things into stone? Because there are accounts there's a biblical account of Lot's wife turning into salt. What happened there? Was it some kind of just like one-off miracle? Shazam! She's a pillar of salt. What does that even mean? What happened?
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely like there's definitely a lot of.
I'm gonna need you to go back to the other picture.
Neither of them are great. I'm just gonna go off the screen.
No, I like the other one.
Okay, well, to each their own. I don't know. There's a lot of archaeological sites of the ancient world that we're just told there's natural rock formations and crap like that. Tons out in like the desert,
right?
In the American Midwest. I don't know what happened,
That's a big question.
That's a great question. I'd
love to find somebody with a theory on what turned a lot of this stuff to stone. Because even like mainstream people talk about like the petrified forest, but nobody has an answer. Like the best answer you'll be able to get is, oh, it's so old it turned to stone. What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah. That's completely nonsensical and bullshit.
Yeah, man. Talk about rock polish. Well done. Yeah. It's just, what does that even mean? This whole idea that it's been here so long, it turned to rock. Have you ever met your grandpa? You know how it's hard for him to move, right? He's just turned into stone. That's what's happening to old Grampy. That's all that's happening. It's just completely retarded. It's no kind of real explanation. And I'm curious as to what actually may have happened.
Yeah, and I rail on institutional science all the time, but all that they'll say about this crap is just like what you said. It's a bunch of false or unfalsifiable bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
That it's so old it turned to stone. We can say that. It's and you can never actually you never actually test that. You can never actually like prove that like something can age so much that happens to it.
Yeah.
But they'll just say it as gospel.
Yeah, they will.
And if you question that, how dare you?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, this man's voice is so great, though, that I linked his YouTube channel because everybody who's listening needs to go and follow him. John, pull up his YouTube page real quick.
Right, just a second.
Like,
I'm writing down.
His voice is... What are you writing down? Anything interesting?
No, Neff Hunter just mentioned a potential guest to talk to.
Oh, nice.
I read the comments, unlike you.
I have to talk. And I can't read and talk. I'm too retarded to read and talk, John.
Maybe it's those glasses.
Maybe it is. But this man's voice is so good, I had to link his YouTube channel. So, folks, if you're not following this guy, follow him. Play a little bit of this video right here. I also got hard watching this.
This one right here?
Yeah. Just, like, go back to the beginning and play a little bit of the sound.
All right.
So you want to know more about the mud flood? That's good. That's real good. All right. Listen to this.
Okay, I almost came just at that part. Like, you know, him telling me I'm a good boy was nice. Enjoyed it.
All right.
Yeah, that's all I got on that. But it is interesting how a lot of these things do seem to have turned to stone. Were they at the bottom of the flood? Was the amount of like sheer pressure, you know, underneath all that water enough to like solidify or calcify them? I mean, who knows? These are just theories from a retard, which would be a good segment idea. I think we need to turn that into a segment. Theories from a retard.
That's not bad.
That's a good segment idea. Bad. So, what do we have next? Let's see here. This is another very exciting thing. Your own President Donald Trump has come out with a board of peace. Tell me that doesn't sound painfully Orwellian. A board of peace. That board of peace is going to contain world leaders such as the very beloved Bibi Netanyahu and old Vladdy Putin, which I think is just fascinating. These people who, and I think Murph has said this on the pod before, like these people who can't agree literally anywhere else, right? Somehow can get on board here. And if you look at the website that's linked, and I can't remember exactly, I can't remember exactly what the number was, but I believe if you donate, I think it's $1 billion to the cause. A $1 billion contribution will secure you a permanent seat on Trump's board of peace. For the low price of, guys. Okay, listen, we have a PayPal. All right, our new goal is to get on Trump's board of peace. Okay, we will pick one person from the chat as a representative, and that will be the person who goes to the meetings on the board of peace. We're taking donations starting right now. Join the Patreon. Send us a PayPal donation. We're getting on the board of peace. Goals. Speaking of such things, I keep forgetting to do this in the middle of the show. Guys, go give us a like and a follow, please. It does help us out. Every little bit helps. If you want to actually support the show, feel free to go check out our Patreon. It is on sale right now. Early bird special, $2 a month. Go check that out. You'll be able to keep that for a long time. If you go ahead and sign up now rather than later, you'll get a bunch of bonus content. We're going to be putting out unedited eps and behind-the-scenes content on there. What else? We're going to have some bonus content on there as well that I'm really excited about. We're starting to work on that now, so go check out the Patreon. Please follow our Twitter. It got nuked a while back. Follow us on Spotify, all the places. We're at the Veritas Road everywhere. On Twitter, we're the Veritas Road Pod because our old Twitter account got raped. So, follow us everywhere. Is that it, John? Did I miss anything? I tried to get it all as quickly as possible.
You covered it.
Excellent. For the low price of $1 million, you can become a member of Trump's Board of Peace. Let's listen to a little bit of what this guy has to say.
Okay. Good.
Are we?
Just making sure, like, try to listen to like a second just to make sure we don't get copyright.
But really, the bigger question now, Max, is about what is this Board of Peace? And Vladimir Putin also receiving an invitation with the Kremlin saying that they are hoping to get more details from the United States before deciding whether or not to join. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu also invited to join. Both of those choices very controversial.
Trump's Board of Peace is becoming more interesting day by day. Every day a new name is added to the board. A new world leader is receiving an invitation to join the board. But I don't think people really understand the severity of what we're about to watch unfold. Now we're talking about adding Vladimir Putin and Benjamin Netanyahu. When Trump first announced that the Board of Peace had been established, Jared Kushner tweeted, "Today marks a historic new beginning in the Middle East." No, it marks a new beginning because you're looking at the first phase of the New World Order. Time to wake up. Smell the coffee. Let me learn you something today. Prophecy is unfolding right in front of us. Jared Kushner, the Middle East connection. Tony Blair has always supported international governance. Mark Carney recently been so excited to talk about the New World Order, and we know what all of the rest of them do. Some people are saying that this is Trump trying to rebuild NATO, but personally, I believe this is way bigger than we can even wrap our mind around. Prophecy is unfolding, the Antichrist will be revealed, and Jesus is coming back.
So, I know a lot of this is laid out in like political parlance, a lot of talks of Trump and Kushner and Bibi Netanyahu and all those people. But what this reminds me of is some of the, what I would argue are like revelation of the method type books. I'm thinking of two specifically. I don't know how many retarded people who listen to this actually read, like what kind of nerds we're dealing with here. But folks, if you've ever read Ender's Game, there is essentially an Ender's Game. It became not a popular movie, but they made a movie out of it with like Harrison Ford and some faggy looking kid. And it was a book by Orson Scott Card that was written in the 90s. But they have essentially an alien invasion that occurs that unites the entire world under one world government. Aliens come in, pose some kind of threat to the human race. People get scared. The world unites under one banner. This seems like an easy, with all the alien stuff that's ramping up. If it's, in any way like remotely negative, scares people, which I'm sure it will, what an easy way to get people to sign over their entire lives to whatever one world government is going to exist. Like it's played out with pen and paper, in my opinion. There's another book also by Isaac Asimov. It's actually 3 books called the Foundation Trilogy, where what happens is the empire, it's almost like an American empire that exists, falls apart. And the only thing bad place to start. The empire falls apart. The story that the book follows is the threat of building civilization back up. And the way they do that is through, follow me on this, John, the religion of science. There's one world off in the distance where they ship all the smart people, and they're the only civilization left with any kind of scientific acumen or knowledge. And so they spread out to different worlds, right? And the stuff they're doing starts to look like sorcery and witchcraft to these people. And so they parlay that into a religion in order to control people, not dissimilar to the way the Catholic Church functions, right? But very obviously focused on science, because you see kind of behind the scenes. What an easy way to do that, especially if we're dealing with, as far as these aliens are concerned, Nephilim type technology, the technology of fallen angels who have come down, and we're using literal technology from lower heavenly beings. What an easy way to control the populace. It's going to look godlike. It's going to look miraculous. It's going to look apocalyptic, and probably in a good way. That's the wild part. Yep. Is it's probably going to look very, very good. Yeah. It's probably going to look incredible. It's probably going to look very pretty. And that's one of those areas that scares the piss out of me, because in the Bible, I can't remember, I think it was Jesus who said, like, if even the elect would be deceived if they could be. I feel like that's the direction this kind of thing is headed.
Yeah, a couple things to touch on there. I mean, that's why the alien narrative, in my view, is so dangerous, right? And it's so dangerous to the people in the the modern country club church, and to just the world at large, because it has a high probability of playing out exactly as you said.
Yeah.
Right. And I harked on in our last kind of 2 episodes of kind of establishing institutional science as a religion, and that they are building a religion, right? And if you look throughout history, they've been building tenets of that religion over time. Right. A creation story with kind of establishing germ theory, right? Obviously, a creation story for man, and obviously a cosmology through the development of astronomy, right? They have built a religion. They just need, a defined deity. And you can kind of see that it kind of seems like maybe they're even waiting to see if this narrative is going to play out, if it's going to be AI or if it's going to be some type of extraterrestrial alien. I
think it'll probably be a culmination of both.
Maybe it'll be like a pantheon or something like that. But it's like they need that kind of establishment of their religion, in place. And in creating that, it will capture a lot of people in the church, a lot of people in the world.
Yeah.
It'll do that because it's like, one, it probably will be very convincing.
Yeah.
And it's why this is probably, from a conspiracy community, one of the most important
topics
to talk
debates.
About.
Yeah.
Because it's probably going to be one of maybe the deception. Maybe that's what it is.
It could be. It could be.
And it's like, from my view, if you've bought into a false narrative of, our reality and how cosmology works, how the world works, it's dangerous. It's dangerous if you bought into that.
Yeah,
especially from a Christian worldview.
Yeah,
because there's going to be a massive conflict there, in my opinion, between the Bible and what is put in front of your eyes, telling you that it's true.
Yeah,
and it's like you're going to have to pick and choose. You're going to have to choose.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on. The thing I wonder sometimes, because it feels like all of these pieces are starting to converge, right? Everything's kind of starting to slowly ramp up. And sure, we're in like the birth pangs of it all. Like I think we're in the very beginning of like the end, if we're looking at a bell curve, we're towards the beginning of it, like really ramping up. And the reason I say that is because I feel like a lot of people have said that in the past. People said that in the 80s. People said that around World War II, probably around World War I. We all said that around 9/11. And so who's to know? That's the problem. Is there's no real way to know other than to simply use logic and reason to try to discern what's truth and what's fake. But for me, the reason I think it is legitimately starting to ramp up is how fantastical a lot of these claims are. We didn't hear people talking about like Hitler killing 6 million Jews with an alien ray gun. Okay, we didn't hear about that. That wasn't a thing in the 50s, right? So things are starting to kind of spiral in directions that I don't know they have in the past. And things are starting to converge from a technological standpoint. It's reasonably possible. See, the problem with a lot of this, even if the technology existed for everybody to communicate and there to be one world government 100 years ago, 200 years ago, that has to seem reasonable to the average guy, right? Joe Blow on the street, Joe Six-Pack, Papa Two Dicks, like they all need to believe like, hey, this is a reasonable thing because that's part of the deception.
Right.
You have to buy into that kind of thing. And so it has to seem reasonably possible. We're at that point now.
Yeah.
I can call somebody in China and tell them to go fuck themselves, and they will if I'm Trump or Putin, right? And so That's like a reasonable possibility now where it has never been before. And we saw that in 2020. We saw that played out before our very eyes, and no one questioned it. Nobody said, hey, isn't it weird that all these countries are moving in lockstep?
Yeah.
I mean, sure, some people did. We were some of those people. There were other people out there saying that, but en masse, those voices were very, very small. There were a lot of skeptics. There were a lot of people speaking out against like coronavirus and all the bullshit that was going on, but very few people were saying, hey, isn't it weird that all of these countries, all of these masses of people that should be very hard to like move or change or influence all at once, all did the same thing at the exact same time?
Yeah.
All of this talk about the world, that sort of thing being a test, sure, I bet it was. Let's figure out if people can see that that's insane, that that's some outrageous bullshit. That many countries, that many people don't all comply and do the same thing all at once. It just doesn't happen. But now it seems reasonable to the mass consciousness. So we've laid the groundwork to be able to bring in this idea of one world government, and it's not gonna seem weird. It's going to seem normal because you're going to wake up after you've already gone ahead and handed over your agency, your spiritual energy to this thing. You're going to wake up and go to work the next day just like normal. You're going to make breakfast for your wife and kids the next day just like normal, but things are going to keep changing. Things are going to keep developing. And I think all of this is converging on the same thing.
Yeah.
This, like, what is this? Like the Peace Corps or Peace Committee or whatever this bullshit is, ramping up aliens, taking over Greenland, all the trannies. It's all starting to circle in on the same spot.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me feel like this is different than like 9/11 or Corona. It wasn't all happening at once. And now, and maybe it's just the fact that we're living through it, and it seems different when you live through it than when you read about it, right? Or when you hear about it from Mimi, because she's half dementiated anyway. Who knows what the hell she actually remembers? Right. It's different when you live through it.
Right.
But for the reasonable mind, it does seem to me like all of these pieces are starting to fall into place in the puzzle.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, but I think it means you have to be wary, because the fact of the matter is, whatever this thing is they're putting together, it's gonna look very good. It's gonna look very pleasing. The whole idea of like these aliens, and one of the ones that a lot of these people talk about are the Pleiadians, that like emanate this like almost good psychological feeling. It's gonna look good.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%, dude. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're coming, whatever this alien deception is, they're coming down and curing diseases.
Yeah.
Right? And like they're coming down and showing you new technology and new this and that. It's like, it will look good and it'll look like it is something beneficial, but that's it's not true. And it's just like, I was kind of thinking in your rant there, which was excellent, and I can't really find too much I really disagree with, but I was thinking is like, man, they started all of this in the perfect spot. Is they captured the authority for the unexplained, and that's like,
that's a good point, John.
They did that immediately, and they established the whole institution of science as the authority for what we cannot understand. And where's all this crap coming from?
It's coming from institutional scientists.
Yeah.
People like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
And it's like that, and that's the danger of this deception, because it's like they've captured that for a lot of, Christians as well.
Yeah.
Like there are a lot of Christians who defer that as the authority for the unexplained.
Yeah.
And
we're brainwashed too.
Yeah. It's the danger of this. It's why it's so dangerous.
Yeah. No, that is a good point. The way they've, without us really knowing, you're right. Like captured, oh gosh, what did you say?
They captured the authority for probably
the unexplained,
for
the
describing
for the unknown.
What is unknown and what is explained.
That's a great point. That's a phenomenal point, because it's absolutely true. And that started probably whatever current historic leg we're on started. It started with I mean, not to plug our last step, but like it started with people like Louis Pasteur. It started with people like Benjamin Franklin. And these stories, you mentioned like Trump's heroic journey. A lot of these are like heroic, almost deified stories.
Yeah.
That's where it began.
Yeah.
And it's been going on for forever, and it has. It's become the religion of science, and we've captured any authority in the public opinion to be able to say, let me explain what you don't understand. And if somebody who isn't in a white coat says anything that's even a little bit off the wall, you're a fake gay woo-woo bastard, you know? Like, it's reached a point where even honest, like, real discussion of what's actually going on in the physical realm, if you approach it from the wrong angle, you sound like an insane person. As somebody who like lived in the world of like holistic functional medicine for a long time, I still am like consistently very careful in the way I talk about it, because you sound like a hippie fag.
Yeah.
You sound like you frolic naked under the trees during the half moon when you talk about like legitimate things like frequency medicine, or nozodes or homeopathy. Like, you sound like you have dreadlocks and you eat nothing but fruit and you like suck dick, but you pretend you're not gay. Like, that's what that makes me, you know, like that's the kind of person you sound like now, because they've co-opted all authority, like you said, for explaining the unexplained.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
Yeah. And it's
good point.
It's just, it's incredible to see like how effective it's been.
Yeah.
And like, you know, we were kind of talking about before the show, that was kind of my biggest issue with like, you know, NDS's and Alberino's debate, is that like he was coming at it from that, you know, from that angle, from the given explanation for what we actually don't understand. And like, that was my biggest problem for all of that. And that's where this deception is coming from. It's the given explanation for what we don't understand, and what, in my opinion, we can't understand without the creator.
Yeah, to your point, I would say like anybody who presents themselves as legitimate, like authority full on, they're wrong.
Yeah.
And they're directing your attention the wrong way.
Right.
If you're going to present yourself as somebody who's knowledgeable and defers to obviously the end game, the creator, but like defers to all the people you've learned from, like come at it with some form of humility, even if you're faking the humility, right? At least pretend that you're not some like self-important, arrogant asshole, because objectively, like that's just going to make people more receptive to your message, you know?
Right.
So yeah, I mean, even people who come at it from that level of like authoritarian authority, like, hey, the people who have studied this have said X, Y, or Z. They actually know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, the logical fallacy of appeal to authority, and this idea of, you know, the science being settled. It's like, that can't be your worldview.
Yeah.
It just can't, because that is going to lead you, as I kind of said on our last episode, it's going to lead you down a path to death at the end of the day. And it's just, it cannot be your worldview. Yeah. And I've been like kind of focusing, as we started doing this, is just screaming that as loud as I can, you know, that like that worldview is false.
It's retarded.
And it is very dangerous.
Yeah.
And especially in the wake of, you know, all the shit we've kind of talked about tonight.
Yeah. The new world peace team or whatever.
I kind of had a thought, before we got into this conversation. It's like, you know what? There is also an aspect of this that kind of makes me think maybe the Little Season people are correct, because it's like, kind of seems like this is kind of on the nose. You know, I don't know if that like got to everyone else, but like this kind of just seems a little bit on the nose of like, you know, maybe they're just trying to kind of make it seem like all of this is playing out. I don't know.
Who knows? Yeah, that's I don't know. Maybe
it's just a kind of a flat, like a passing thought to have. It's like, man, that's really on the nose. Like that's really obvious, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's your point, David. I only frolic tits out under full daylight. So that's what I do. Full tits, full daylight. I sparkle like Edward Cullen because I'm so pale. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Okay. I don't think there's much more to say on that, John. Last, well, we may go through the Twitter doc here at the end, but the last main article we have, I wanted to end on a less serious note, because I feel like we've had the last couple of Touch Me Tuesdays we've done have been a little more serious. Let's talk about black people's clothing and how white-owned fashion is fascist. I love this. So Michelle Obama came out and said black women should avoid white-owned fashion brands, and the reason I think this is fun is because we're saying let's support people who used to be slaves by investing in the slaves of people who used to be slaves and buying more clothing made by slaves. I like this, and I think it's I elect her president next week. I think it's fun. Let's play a little bit of the video.
Okay.
What? You seem concerned about that.
I was thinking I need to check for copyright crap, but there's not going to be audio or music in this.
If I hear of someone whose fashion that I like and I know that they're a person of color, I try to make it a point. But the clothes have to be available. You know, I think we can all do some work to think about that balance in our wardrobes. You know, what does our closet look like and who's in it? Mm-hmm. Who are we supporting in it?
Right.
You know, and I think if you have the money to buy Chanel, then you have the money to buy everybody.
Yeah, right. Girl, stop that. If you got the money to buy Chanel, you got the money to buy Shanae. That's what you got, girl. Yeah. Don't buy Chanel, you buy Shanae. You buy Shamiqua instead of Chanel. Yeah. Yeah. How ridiculous is this? This is obviously meant to get the goat up of people like me who are going to make fun of it. But right. I just think it's great. I think it's phenomenal that
freaking move that I can't look at that.
I think it's phenomenal that a chick with a dick is out there telling you it's terrible for you to buy white-owned clothing brands and to base your clothing choices off of racism. I think that's fun, and I think we should continue to do that. I like it, and I support her efforts because it's hilarious.
You know, I feel immeasurably sorry for the people on the production crew for whatever the fuck that was. That they have to sit there and like
deal with that
and pretend like this adds value to the work. Because you know, like a lot of people stuck in like the corporate, 9 to 5. Maybe don't see it, but those motherfuckers see that they do nothing. Like the person videoing that knows he does nothing in the world. He provides nothing of value in the world. He knows it, and that's got to be a really bleak way to live, to be that guy, man. That poor bastard.
Old Andrew Johnson's like, fuck. I got to go get yelled at my wife now because I don't make enough money. She's pissed because I don't spend more time with the kids. And now I have to spend all day watching this girl's dick swing around talking about black-owned clothing brands. Like that's legitimately some guy's life.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I love it. So, moving on from clothing brands of color. Let's check out what else is in the we have a little Twitter folder we sometimes scroll through because I just want to hang out with you guys a little longer tonight. I'm having fun. So Sal the Agorist, who's an interesting fellow on the social media. I don't know how many people follow him. There was a midwifery company who falsified jab records for 1,500 kids. You talk about first responders, you talk about military veterans, you talk about these are the real heroes right here. I would gladly take off my hat, give up my seat, powder my dick for any of the women who work here. Like, good for them. They're doing the Lord's work. This is amazing. That's really all I have to say about that. I just think that's kind of cool. There's the Putin thing. Trump said we're going back to space in 2028. I can't get through that without laughing. Who thinks, show of hands, who thinks we're actually going back to space ever? I feel like we've reached the point and John, I'll be interested to hear you weigh in on this. We can't fake any more space landings. We can't fake any more landings on other planets. I don't think it's going to happen.
No, but I will tell you right now, the phone call from those astronauts on the moon to Donald Trump, a la JFK, is going to be freaking epic.
I can't wait for that.
That's going to be funny.
We will live stream that if we can.
If that happens, that's going to be funny.
Yes.
Because talk about some entertainment.
Oh, I hope that happens. I will get a telescope out and try to watch them from Earth, watch them on the moon.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, you won't be able to see them. It'll be great. Let's see. Anything else? Is this Trump's impression of a retarded president? Is this him trying to pretend to be not RFK? He's retarded in a different way. Who is it? Roosevelt. Is it Roosevelt?
No, it's a few of them.
All right, let's see a little bit of this.
Reagan had Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Wilson had a stroke.
No, there's one that was confined to a wheelchair.
Oh, that's
FDR.
FDR.
Yeah, this is Trump trying to do FDR.
Just a bunch of them went retards towards the end.
Is it the technology that's wearing out that makes them retarded towards the end? Are they, do they start injecting them with stuff? Do they stop injecting them with stuff? I don't know.
I don't know. Biden stayed retarded from the start, so maybe it's just a random draw.
They just have like a Russian roulette of syringes and see which one they get that day. All right, let's.
They put a little tiny thing like this, little tiny, and
I'm talking about trans weightlifters.
Hates when I do this.
That's what it is.
She said, she's a very classy person, right? She said, it's so unpresidential. I said, but I did become president.
By definition,
She hates when I dance. I said, everybody wants me to dance. Darling, it's not presidential. She actually said, could you imagine FDR dancing? She said that to me. And I said, there's a long history that perhaps she doesn't know. Because he was an elegant fellow, even as a Democrat, right? He was the attack by Japan, he was quite elegant. But he wouldn't be doing this. But
because he couldn't.
Nor would too many others. But she says, darling, please, the weightlifting is terrible. And I have to say this, the dancing they really like. She said they don't like it, they're just being nice to you.
How much more of this is there?
It's like 2 minutes.
Okay.
What the hell is this?
I think towards the end he tries to weightlift. He tries to there it is. He tries. This is okay. Let's pause it real quick. This, for context, this is Trump imitating a girl weightlifter and then a trans weightlifter.
Okay. Why did he post the first minute of that?
I don't know.
Drops the thing, walks off the stage crying. Her mother's crying, her father's crying. Guy gets up. He said, have you lifted before? A little bit. And he walks up. He could have gone ding, 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 ding. I think it was 112 pounds, right? It's crazy.
There you go. That's really all there was for that. It's just Trump imitating a trans person. I think that's
idea to
pull for this.
Pull for a sound.
That would be great. That would be great. Last thing that I want to end on a fun, positive note. There are a lot of parents out there who coddle their children. And to be fair, I'm not a parent, but I think the reason that a lot of these assholes are walking around like me, injuring their ankles. I injured my ass last week. Can't make decisions to save their life. They're scared of black people when they see them on the street. It's because you turned your kid into a fag when they were younger, okay? You didn't let them do risky things. Kids learn risk assessment as they're doing risky things. That's how you learn that. Legitimately, that's how you learn that. And so nerfing your child's environment or any child's environment will turn them into a little cunt. And if you don't do that, guess what? Your little boys grow up to be men. Your little girls turn out to be actual functioning women, and this is an example of a parent not being a dick to their kid, but actually encouraging this sweet, innocent child to take a risk, and it pays off. A tender moment from us to you on Touch Me Tuesdays on the Veritas Red.
Go on, be brave. Go on, be brave.
How cute is this little kid?
Go on, stand up. Stand up. Go on, stand up, be brave. You can do it.
Oh.
Come on, be brave. Be brave. That's it, it's good. Well done. Come on, be brave. Come on, be brave. Come on. Why? No, see, you can do it. Wow. Come on. Whoa, you can do it. See?
Oh, I'm good.
Whoa.
Look at how proud this kid is now.
See, you can do it. See? Jump.
Okay, that kid will experience more pride and a greater sense of accomplishment doing that than any of these demonic assholes ever did running for fucking president, okay? That is a bigger accomplishment and a more meaningful accomplishment than that ever would be. And that parent is a badass. Good for him. We need more of this out in the world. And that was the thing that actually touched me this week. We rarely ever talk about that sort of thing, but that actually did. Got me in the feels this week. John, any thoughts before I take us out? No? All right. No. Oh, okay. Heard. Well, folks, thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Tonight's been fun. We appreciate you guys hanging out in the chats. Do give the stream a like and or give us a follow if you haven't yet. Please check out the Patreon if you want to support the show. We do have a lot more content coming there very soon. It is half off, 33% off, something like that. It's discounted right now. I'm losing track of what's where. And we'll continue to provide that discount to you for a year after you sign up. So go ahead and sign up now while it's cheap. You'll get a bunch of stuff there. Do check out our stream coming this Friday with Steven. That's going to be a blast starting at 7 Central Time is what we're aiming for. So Steven with the Biblical Hitmen, it's going to be phenomenal at 7 p.m. Central on Friday, January 23rd. Nephilim Hunter. I don't know if you caught that. Comment if you didn't. And then we're going to be having Danny from the Rabbit Hole podcast on at some point. We haven't nailed down that date yet. I got to message her back after this. Check us here every Tuesday live at 7-ish p.m. for Touch Me Tuesdays. And we'll be dropping a new ep, hopefully Friday. But definitely sometime this weekend. And then those will be dropping periodically. We'll try to keep you guys up to date as to when those are happening. Yes, Nephilim Hunter, we'll aim to go live around 7 p.m. on Friday the 23rd.
Yeah.
So that will be live when it happens. Assuming there's not like some kind of snow apocalypse here in Tennessee. They're calling for just world-ending levels of snow. So, which we think any level of snow is world-ending here in Tennessee. We get a dusting and people are panicking and buying up all the bread, milk, and eggs. Whatever else people bought, beer, I guess, alcohol. I don't know what people need to get them through a snowstorm. I definitely get alcohol for those. I feel like it's important. It's an important element of my snow day now is a little bit of spiked snow cream.
Interesting.
Yeah, hit me up for the recipe if anybody wants it. It's very good. So anyway, folks, thanks for listening. It's been a blast, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.